All right, let's do it. Another episode of Tony's Not a Podcast. This one's going to be the most controversial episode I've done in a while. You can read that title down there, and I think some of you probably clicked on that and went, what? I've listened to Tony for the last 5 weeks. This doesn't make any sense. Can't wait to hear what he says on this show. Well, here we are. Let's talk about it. Actually, before we talk about the Russ versus Fields thing, because this is like taking over. Just everything we talk about now is just Russ versus Fields. Is this the right decision? Wrong decision. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's talk. Can we talk for a second about the fact the Steelers won a 19-point a blowout. Never a game in the fourth quarter. Never felt like in the fourth quarter that it was even going to be close. When was the last time you could say that? I mean, it's like the third time in 3 years or something. You know, like the Steelers legitimately won a game comfortably. Comfortably won a football game. Shout out to them. I thought it was the most complimentary football they've played all year. 3 turnovers by the defense. One of them, the one that they had at the goal line by TJ. First of all, great TJ game overall. Great TJ play on that play. Don't love the idea like it was 22-7 and then the defense came out and gave up a long drive. I understand they got the turnover at the end. I would the thing about this defense right now, it's wavering between like dominant and like, I don't know what you would call it. I don't want to say the turnovers are lucky. Right, but it's like they're not necessarily dominant, but they wreak havoc. Let's put it that way. Like they are really good about wreaking havoc and being opportunistic in that way. And they're maybe not as truly dominant as you'd like them to be, because that's a moment where, boy, if you don't get that turnover, and all of a sudden it's 22-14 or 22-15, whatever it would have been. It's just a different game in the fourth quarter. But TJ did get it. I mean, he had a monster game. Great job by him. Steelers defense gets 3 turnovers. Steelers offense converts that into points. I think 2 out of the 3 they converted into points. They scored 32 in the game. They had a blocked punt that they converted into points, right? Again, complimentary football, the most complimentary football game we've seen. Naji. Do I owe Naji an apology? Not yet. It's one game. But I will say this. That was an eye-opener for me. I didn't think Naji had that one. I was not familiar with your game, Naji. Everything that I criticized him about in the past, he did to a T. Like, he was as explosive as I've ever seen him. But not only that, I think the big criticism that I've had with Naji recently is like he doesn't understand what kind of runner he is. I think he should be a real bruiser type runner. Run through a guy's face. He tries to be a little more like shifty, I'm going to beat you in a phone booth type thing, like I'm going to make you miss in a phone booth type thing, which I think has been to his detriment at times. Not in this one. I mean, he was making people miss easily. I mean, the most rushing yards over expectation he's had, I think, in his entire career. He's the highest yards per carry he's ever had in his career. But the only comparison that you could have in Naji's career to this game would be that Monday night game he had against the Browns, where he took over that one. I mean, that was one where, not only was he really good in that one, but I mean, he got like 20, 30 carries in that game, almost 200 yards. So, great performance from Naji. And I don't buy into. I reject the idea that this was all run blocking. And I know he said that, like, hey, we just block better. Like, I can just do this stuff. Like, no, I should give yourself some credit. Like, you played really, really well in this football game. I do think it is worth pointing out the effort and the contact balance, the slipperiness that he showed off in this game, the nimble footwork that he showed off in this game that he has not shown off in the past. Right? I mean, I don't think the reason why he went from 1 yard per carry 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, whenever that was, to 7 yards per carry here is just because, like, the run blocking got a little better. I don't think we're 6 yards per carry better in run blocking. That's just me. Credit to Naji Harris in that one. Now that all that's been said. And then Fields, I think Fields was good enough. Not great in the passing game, but still a net plus when it comes to the running game. Obviously, I think he had, 2 rushing touchdowns in this one. I think he leads the team now in just total touchdowns running. And that's a great segue to talk about what we're all here to talk about. Russell Wilson will take over the starting job for the Steelers this week. Now, I don't know that for a fact because I'm recording this around noon on Friday, and I tried to put this off as much as I could, both to kind of like gather my thoughts to make sure like what I'm saying here is going to make coherent sense. Because I think a lot of you are probably surprised by the fact that I'm okay with this Russell Wilson thing. So I want to wait on that. And then I wanted to see if there was going to be an official announcement. There is not. I mean, unless it's going to come later today. It might come like when the injury report comes out, but I'm recording this around lunchtime on Friday. There's been no official announcement, but there's enough tea leaves out there. I've heard Justin speak. I've heard Tomlin speak. I've heard Arthur Smith speak. I've listened to some of the media guys that I trust. Like, pretty pretty clear Russell Wilson's going to be the starter on Sunday night against the New York Jets. So let's talk about it. Why am I okay with this? I'm more than okay. I'm kind of excited by the idea that Russell Wilson's going to start. And to me, it's a complete mindset shift in how I think about or how the Steelers are thinking about football and how the Steelers are thinking about winning football games. I think Mike Tomlin has finally gone process-oriented in his thinking and not results-oriented. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so process-oriented thinking versus results-oriented thinking is this. If you are presented with two different options, option A, you have a 75% chance of achieving success. Option B, you have a 25% chance of achieving success. Which option do you choose? You're going to choose option A. Right? I'm just going to choose option A, obviously. 75% chance versus 25% chance? Yeah, I'm going to choose option A. Now, if you choose option A, but you ultimately do not achieve success, did you make the right choice? Did you make the right choice in choosing option A even though you failed? Results-oriented thinking says no, you failed, so you made the wrong choice. Process-oriented thinking says, yes, of course I made the right choice. Even though I failed, the process that I led up to, I should choose the higher percentage option, was correct. Right? Mike Tomlin has been very much a results-oriented thinker in the past. If you listen to him talk, just listen to him during his press conferences. Listen to the way he talks about football. All he talks about is winning. All he talks about is results. It's just, everything about like, hey, how's this guy playing? We're winning. He's playing winning football. This guy's playing winning football. We're winning. We're losing. We're not doing good enough. We're winning. We're playing good enough. That's it. That's all he ever talks about. When he said what kind of blew my mind and changed my entire mind on this, and got me actually not just to be okay with the Russ thing, but kind of excited about it. He said during his Tuesday press conference, when asked about the offense and how well the offense is playing, he said, look, we've been good on offense, but that's not to be confused with great. Oh, really? Oh, really? That's what we've been saying for like the last 3 years watching this offense. Like, why are we okay with mediocrity? Why are we okay with like, we're just going to be conservative. Don't turn the ball over. Hey, everybody. Just do enough. Don't turn the ball over. Like, that's all we're trying to do offensively. We're not trying to get any better than that. Just don't screw it up for us defensively. That's your whole mantra. And we've watched this for like 3 years. And then all of a sudden, on Tuesday, Mike said, you know what? I think with Russ, we could be legitimately great. I think we could be great with Russ. Wait, hold on, Mike. We're trying to be great offensively. We're not trying to like just get by. Hey, watch what you know. What's great? You know what's a great football game is winning 13-6 over the Broncos and winning 18-10 over the Falcons, and all these wins. Maybe we could win a game like with legitimately good offense. Hell yeah, let's go. I don't know that. Look, this is why I'm of two minds to this. I love that idea. Yes, thank you. I'm tired of the mediocrity. I'm tired of like, oh, we're just going to squeak by. We're going to squeak by, right? Like, oh, we're going to try and be great? Hell yeah, we're going to try and be great. Let's go. Now, is Russell Wilson going to be great? This is where it's like, I'm excited. I'm excited by the idea of it. The thesis here, which is we're not great, and I think Russ could make us great. Okay? In. All the way in. I'm all the way in on that. Now, here's the problem. I've been watching football for a long time. 30 years. In my 30 years of football watching, I kind of understand a couple things. If you have a bad wide receiver core, an underperforming offensive line, and you put in an immobile quarterback who really is not going to give you anything in the running game, and he's not really going to be a great sack avoidance guy, well, that's tough for me. That's tough for me. Look, I will acknowledge. Clearly, Justin Fields is not lighting it up in the passing game. It's not like he's everything that's out there in the passing game to get, he's getting. Clearly. You don't have to turn on, like, you don't have to be an X's and O's, all 22 guy, like really studying every play, Like, it's pretty clear. Justin's leaving things out there. There are some plays that he is leaving out there. It's like, hey, Justin, you got to make that throw, dude. Like, this is the NFL. You got to make this. These are not bang, bang plays. This is not like, oh, he missed his window. It's like, guys are open. You got to make some throws. Now, having said that, do I think Russ is going to come in and make, like, the thing about Russ, you have to believe that Russ is going to make all of those throws. He's going to have to substantially improve the passing game because we are going to substantially downgrade our QB run game. which has not been an insubstantial part of this team so far. You look at what Justin did even this week, right? In a 20-point blowout, Justin had like 50 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. You could say well, you'll bring him into the red zone again. You just keep doing that. Yeah, but there's an element of surprise stuff that when Fields is your quarterback every single play, read option could be the play, or it could just be a regular drop back or a rollout, be any different play. You bring Fields in and take Russ off the field. I think everybody kind of knows they're probably going to try and use his feet here. I bet there's going to be some sort of read option. Somewhat of the element of surprise with what Fields can do is gone when you're just bringing Fields in for a play or two at the goal line. So we'll see about that. Yeah, I just, for me, though, I go back to the idea of, look, I think I said this on the podcast the very first time. If you truly do believe that Russ can unlock something about this passing game, go for it. Go for it. Because I think we've all watched this team. I think the last 3 weeks of football has kind of put a kibosh on the idea that this team could be anything better than the way it's currently constructed with Fields at quarterback. I think there's a pretty solid ceiling on what this team can really be and what this team can really do. With Justin Fields at quarterback, you are probably looking at get into the playoffs as a wild card, go on the road, hope to complete an upset on the road, right? You will probably be an underdog to whoever wins another division. Whether you're going on the road to a team like the Bills, you're going on the road to a team like the Chiefs, you're going on the road to a team like the Texans. Maybe you go on the road to a team like Baltimore where you match up well because it's a division opponent. But if you're going on the road to any of the other teams, you're hoping for an upset there, and then you're probably one and done. That's probably the ceiling with the Justin Fields team. I think we've seen that over the last 3 weeks. Okay, so is there anything else to can we improve this offense in some other way where it can be somewhere close to good? Right now on offense, if you look at all the numbers offensively, this team's pretty close to average, a little below average offensively. How do we get this team up to above average to good? Because if that happens and this defense continues to play the way it's playing, wreaking havoc, causing turnover, maybe you can get a little more dominant. I'd love to see. Another thing I should talk about with that game against the Raiders, by the way, Patrick Queen, best game of his Steeler career, started to look a little more comfortable now. Again, I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Patrick, it was very clear those first couple weeks he's so passive. It was does he even know what he's looking at? Now I think he's starting to get better in that way. Hopefully that arrow continues to point up. But defensively, really good team. I mean, good defense. It's just a matter of how good do they get? Do they get into great? Is it top 5? Yada, 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 right? We talked about this in the past. And then how good can that offense be? Because if Russell Wilson comes in, unlocks some sort of passing game, this offense goes into doesn't need to be that good. Can you squeak around top 10 offense in the league? You squeak around top 10. You go from where they are now, probably 18th, and you can improve that to top 10. Okay. Now I'm going to say something that's probably going to be a little controversial. Not among this fan base, but maybe if I was on my AC North Talk show. If Russ comes in and is good, this team could win the division. If Russ comes in and is good, this team can win the division. And then I'm talking about winning playoff games, legitimately winning playoff games. I mean, that's got to be the goal, and that's got to be what Tomlin's looking at now. It's I'm not okay with just being we're going to squeak by, we're going to play crappy football. It's only going to get you so far. And that's what we've all been saying for so long. This style of football can only get you so far. It's fun. We've crystallized the art of it. It's funny that we're this bad, but we keep winning. But can we try to be something better than that? I'm excited that Tomlin's yes, we can try. We will try. We are going to try. We are going to attempt something to be better than that. I don't know that it's the right decision ultimately. I don't know that Russ can be substantially better than Fields. And all the things that Fields gives you a sack avoidance perspective. That Broderick play on Sunday, the play where he just whiffed on the entire play, he just stood there the entire play and Max Crosby came running free. That's a massive sack with Russ at the helm. That's a 10-yard gain with Fields at the helm. And again, those are the kind of things Russ has to be those things are going away. That what Fields brings you from that perspective is going away. So Russ has to be that much better from a passing game perspective. I would say this would be a much better decision, in my opinion, if the Steelers had made some sort of trade at wide receiver. Now, the Devontae Adams thing, it was always probably a long shot. The Jets clearly, like, that makes a lot of sense. He's going to go back with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, the Saints made a lot of sense. Go back with Derek Carr. Even the Bills made more sense when it came to, like, let's go play with Josh Allen. Like, do you really want to? Yeah. I mean, I get, like, Tomlin's a good guy to play with, but at the end of the day, if you're Devontae Adams, and you're like, you want to play with Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, two guys you've played with before, you know what they bring to the table. You can play with Josh Allen. Or you can go play with who knows who's going to play quarterback and who even knows what this passing offense is going to look like. I mean, they're getting like 150 yards a game. Where do you want to go? So I think the other problem I have with this passing game is, like, how much is there to really unlock? And then is Russ going to be able to make all of those throws? We shall see. I'm excited about it, though. I really am. I'm very cautious in it. I think that it could very easily blow up in Tomlin's face. But once again, process-oriented thinking here. Are we okay as a fan base to continue to play this style of football? Are you okay to continue to watch the Steelers do just enough offensively? Boy, you better hope the defense has a great game, and you better hope it's all complementary together. Offense, don't screw it up. Defense, you win the game for us. That's how we're going to play every single week. Are we okay with that, to just continue doing that for a whole other season? Or are we wanting to take a risk here that potentially there's something else we can unlock about this offense to move the needle here and move us from kind of an also ran in the AFC, like, aren't they a cute story? They are no threat to anybody, but they are cute, to, okay, could we be, I don't want to use the word contender, but some sort of, like, contender adjacent type team. That's what I think Tomlin's going for here. I respect the decision. I 100% respect the decision by Mike Tomlin. Let's see how it works out. See y'all on, well, whatever. Whenever I record. I'll see you guys next week to talk about the results-oriented part of this. See you then.